Hey everybody, and thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. In this video I'm going to root prune and repot this Shillings holly. I'm also going to give it some trimming because it's grown a little bit wild. It also has some growth that I just absolutely do not want, and that is down here. If you can see, it has suckered from the base way down here. So that is not contributing to the tree at all, to the design. So we're going to take that out of there if we can. Sometimes you just need to do it twice. There we go. Oh, there's a little more. All right. And then this guy really needs some trimming. As you can see, just a lot of excess stuff up here. And I normally would not do this for the tree this early because it hasn't broken dormancy, but this guy just needs it. And this is more of, I make the joke a little off the top. So there's nothing that I'm doing right now that's really detailed styling, where I go in here and decide where's the apex, which branch do I want, are there certain branches that are moving in a direction that I don't like. This first main branch has some major branching, like right here, that's going against the grain, but right now I just want to trim it some. That can occur later in the year, that more detailed styling. And if we talk about the rule of thirds, the length of the pot should be about 2/3, either the height of the tree or the width of the tree. And as you can see, this pot is way too big for this tree. But it's typical of what I do because I like to overpot a little bit. And I don't think that the ensemble, for lack of a better word, is really all that bad. It looks pretty nice in this pot. And so I'm going to put it right back in this pot. And then of course we also have our scar here, which in Japanese, a scar that does not heal or will never heal, is called uro. And it's in English it's spelled U-R-O. And now this may heal over time, but I kind of like that. This was also a landscape plant that I got from a big box store, which is why it does not have the giant massive roots, trunks of some of the Shillings that are not that much bigger than this, but that have trunks twice the size, because I got those from a wholesale nursery, and I was able to walk through the nursery and pick through hundreds and get, what you would call the culls. These were, I say these because I picked two. So I have this brother, and many times I've worked on them together in videos, but for today we're just doing this one. So when it comes to root pruning, take it out of the pot. And once again, it's pulled up the screen, and this is just window screen, which is basically indestructible. A million years from now, it'll still be around. Thank you for plastics, right? Pot's pretty clean. In a perfect world, I'd go scrub it down, but it's not necessary. So put the screen back in there. And then we're going to look at the roots and just look at how, oops, I got some more screen. Well, we don't need that. But look at how healthy the roots are, really nice. And it's not tremendously root bound. So that's good. I'm not really sure I need my root hook. Maybe a little bit. And all these roots that are coming here, this nice new growth, versus there's kind of like a tough inner section of roots that you can see. That is the old roots from the old pot. Remember, this was in a 3-gallon pot. So, 3-gallon pot's pretty big. So I took a whole bunch of stuff off of this guy when I first root pruned it. It's also got this very strange root right here, you know. I love radial roots and cool nabari, but sometimes you have to compromise when you're buying stuff from like a big box store. You're just not going to get that radial roots. The best way to get really killer nabari is to grow them from cuttings, tiny cuttings, and it takes a long time, but you get much, much better nabari. So we're just going to live with the fact that it has that weird root. I'm not going to even worry about it. Take a little bit off of the bottom. I don't know if you can't really see it, but you can hear it. There's a big knob here, and that was where I chopped off the original tree, the roots that went down into the 3-gallon pot. And typically when I do a root pruning, a really drastic root pruning like that, I try to go as drastic as I can so that you don't have to do it again. So I don't have to come in here and chop this out again. Try to just keep that drastic procedure down to a one-time deal. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. We got a root here I want to get rid of. So you can actually say that I've taken it back to the original root ball that I left when I did the major root prune. But that's okay. There's another little root right there. And reposition it in the pot. Remove some of the old soil. And unlike the Oleagnus that I did earlier today, I'm going to give this guy, you know, I want him about like that. So see if I put it right at the base of the pot, he's way down in there, and I want him up about like that. So we give him a certain amount of soil. And you may notice there's like dust coming off this soil. That's because it's bone dry. Whenever I try to repot a tree, my soil that I'm using is bone dry because it just settles better into the pot. You know, when we're using our chopsticks to get it into the pot, it's much, much easier to have it settle into the air spaces when it's bone dry. And in fact, I did a video the other day where I started to use some soil, and I didn't realize that on the interior of the bucket it was still wet. Apparently it had gotten wet and it hadn't evaporated. So I quit using that soil and I went and I got different soil. So get that stuff down in there. Probably need to spin it around some. And this is another super rocky mix. This is a mixture of lava rock and Chattahoochee rock and a little bit of calcined clay that typically goes by the name of turfaced. It's produced as a top dressing for mainly baseball infields. And it's clay that's been fired and then pulverized. And even though there was a little dust coming off of this stuff, It's been sifted. There are no fine particles. Fine particles will just clog up your soil and create some major problems for your trees. So if you're going to make your own soil, or even if you buy commercial soil, you normally want to sift it again. So I sift all my soil, bone dry. I use the same tray that I'm working on right now to spread my soil mix out, the components. So I just take the lava rock, spread it out, leave it in the sun to get bone dry. Then I sift it. Then I take the Chattahoochee rock and I spread it out and let it get bone dry and sift it. Then I mix it bone dry and I store it so it will not get wet, except for that last batch. I don't really know how that happened. But hey, you know, sometimes it just does. So there we go. Pretty much, you know, same tree, same pot. It could probably use to be over a little bit, but I didn't really want to gouge into that old root ball. So, and I think I moved the front. So can I pull it off where, even though I've got it completely potted up, I can actually move the front? Usually you can just give it a little bit of a, yeah, there we go. Not that big of a deal. And there's definitely a tremendous amount of density in here because it has a very nice trunk line, but you can't see it because of all the leaves. But for now, I'm just going to concentrate on the repotting process. And we can do that in another video. And so if you're new to the channel and you want to watch this guy develop, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and the next time I do an update on this guy, which will be taking a more detailed approach to styling the branches, you'll be able to see that. So there we go. That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can watch this guy develop along with all the other trees that I grow. And leave a comment, see what you think. Do you like the uro? A lot of times people don't want scars to be accentuated, but I thought this was kind of cool. So thanks again for watching, and stay tuned because I think this guy is going to develop very nicely. And I will see you in the next video.